In this video I am going to go through just two properties of logarithms. This is part 2 of 2. So I did a part 1 that had roughly 4 different types of properties of logarithms in that you might want to watch before this. Alright, but then this will cover the last 2 properties, the product rule and the quotient rule. Alright, let's say you have a product that's being multiplied and it's of a base A. The product rule says that we can then, when I'm multiplying these two logs, I can separate them and expand them into 2 separate logs that is being added and then use that same base. And in this video I am just going to show going from the 2 logs being multiplied into addition. That would be expanding the log. However, if you were going to compress your logs, alright, then this rule works backwards as well. If I am adding 2 logs and they have the same base, I can compress them into a multiplication. So that rule works both ways. Alright, so for in this one right here, I've got the log of 10x. Alright, and then obviously we know that that's a base 10 because there's no base written there. So I could expand this out to be the log of 10 plus the log of x. Alright, now after you do that expansion, you are going to want to check and make sure you can evaluate any of these. This is a base 10. If you actually put the 10 in there, you might be able to realize that, okay, the log of 10 base 10, that's going to be 1 because 10 raised to the first power equals 10. So if you can evaluate any of them when you are expanding, you're going to want to do that. So then this is going to simplify to a 1 plus log of x. Alright, this also works with natural logs right here. So I've got the natural log of 7x. So if I expand that out using the product rule, I would have the log of 7, natural log of 7 plus natural log of x. Alright, now because natural log of 7, I cannot easily evaluate that without the use of a calculator, then I just would expand my answer to that and then leave it that way. Okay, taking a look over here at the quotient rule, okay, if I have the log of some base and I'm dividing 2 things, I have a quotient going on here, then I can expand this out and use subtraction between those 2 numbers and keeping that same log base. Alright, and then again, it works both ways. So if I were subtracting 2 logs and I wanted to compress them into a single log, if I was subtracting them, when I compress them, I would then go back and have the division. So it works both ways, and I'm only going to do an example of the expansion. Alright, so in this first example, let's say I'm doing the log of 19 divided by x, base 7. Alright, so there is a quotient. My base is 7, so I can expand this into the log of 19 base 7 minus the log of x base 7. Alright, here again I would look at this. If it was a log that I could easily evaluate without a calculator, then I might want to do that, but this one is not. 7 raised to a decimal power would have to be 19, something other than something I can do easily in my head, so I would just stop right there. Alright, works with natural logs as well. Natural log of e to the 3rd divided by 7. Alright, I have a quotient going on here, so by the quotient rule, I can rewrite this as the natural log of e to the 3rd minus the natural log of 7. Okay, now this one you might not realize really quickly. You can evaluate this kind of easy. Depends on what you want to do. If you watched part 1 and you saw me talk about jump the frog, alright, this does jump the frog. Okay, so that 3 could come down there in front, and it would be 3 times the natural log of e minus the natural log of 7. Natural log of e, hopefully you have memorized, is 1, so 1 times 3, that's just going to evaluate to 3. Alright, and also, depending on some of the other rules that you have maybe memorized, natural log of e raised to any exponent will just be that exponent. But justification would be jumping the frog and then evaluating it up that way. So 2 just really quick examples of expanding your logs, okay, but do keep in mind that you can go backwards and compress. If I would have started with 2 logs, like say for this one being subtracted, and then it said to compress them into a single log, because it was subtraction, I would have come back to this and wrote it as a quotient. So both of these rules go both ways. Thanks for watching. This sums up pretty much all the properties of logarithms in 2 videos. Make sure you watch the first one. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up and be sure and share with your friends.